All right, everybody, we are here with the Track Paragon Fire. I just so happen to have the correct jersey for this, too, by the way. I already did go on ahead and throw the ball, warm up with it, talk to the members a little bit. If you would like to be a member, then you can see the, the 10-minute kind of chat where I'm kind of warming up and getting lined up so that when I get into the review, I don't have to spend the first 10 minutes of it kind of fumbling through things. So I've got an idea of what we're doing here. I'm gonna go on ahead and start in my normal spot. I'll pop layouts up on the screen. We'll talk about the information, whatever else. But we're just gonna start in the normal spot, standing on 21, aiming 15 to 5, third arrow. That's in. So this is your kind of prototypical strong track Asym, what you expect it to be. It's whether it's Paragon, Paradox, Criterion, whatever else, this is kind of that shape that you expect. The hockey stick, kind of hook set directional. But as you'll see here, and it is getting faster as I knock some of the shine off. It comes at 2000 grit, I'm pretty sure. So it does come kind of dull out of the box. And it was pretty early and slow to get started with as we kind of knock the dust off. But as you'll see here, that's a little better. It's also got kind of a nice friction blend. So most of those other balls are kind of the hook set directional. So if you get them out, you get up the back of them, you're used to the kind of the hook stop flat 10. This has HK22C solid on it with prime response. And so this is HK22C squared, which is also in the Spawn, the Zero Mercy solid, the Spartan 2, I believe. So this is extra strong cover. And I think that really helps it, instead of just the hook set, hook stop, whatever else, it kind of climbs off of the friction. It doesn't do the hook stop or the hook set thing. It sees the friction and really blends it so it's nice and archy and continuous at the same time. It's better. So yeah, because it does instantly remind me of something like a Criterion, which I had Lefty. But I said this to the members, but it's kind of funny that it's like, this is par for the course for a track ball as far as the general overall shape goes. If you buy and like track Asyms, you kind of know what you're getting, again, whether it's a Paragon, Paradox, Criterion, whatever else. But I think that's why people buy track balls, is because they know what they're getting. And so it's not a, it's not a bad thing for it to be kind of more of the same, but this isn't exactly more of the same at the same time. Because I'm used to a ball like that, a track Asym like that, not doing that. I'm not used to the picking up, and it is that hockey stick, that nice hook set, very defined on the back end. You know where it's gonna go, what's gonna happen, but that climbing continuous thing is new. Where it's not like a rounder shape like the Theorems, or the Theorem and the Theorem solid anyway. The Theorem Pearl was definitely your hook set, whatever. So this isn't the rounder, more continuous shape of the Theorem solid, but it's not the hook set, hook stop, directional shape of the Criterion, or the Paradox solid, or one of the other Paragons, basically, that kind of still do the same thing. That was not good, but it acted like it was good. And it's got this weird blend between, it hooks but I don't feel like I have to chuck it. And it pops and it's dynamic, but it doesn't feel like it's fast. And that one was kind of smoothish, but it's nice and continuous. So whatever they did with this cover to kind of still maintain the kind of Paragon shape that you like, but make it more continuous and blendy. And if you do kind of get it out too far, get more up the back of it, and you're used to, okay, well, that's gonna hook stop or that's gonna be flat, not necessarily. So one more decent shot from here, we'll start moving around and talking stuff. That's even out further, but man, see, it just, again, I got that one out, but it digs and digs without like dig/hooks without grinding to a halt. It's, I wouldn't necessarily say like it's super unique, but it's a tweak that brings some freshness to the typical track kind of Asym formula, I guess you'd say. So anyway, as far as the ball numbers go, it's a stronger asymmetric ball, but it's got kind of it's a weird place for the int def. So it's basically 248, 249 on the RG, 056 on the differential, and 015 on the int diff. Most of the time you have regular standard Asyms that are up at 018, 019, 020, whatever else. Or you have mild Asyms that are 010, 011, 012, something like that. Having something in the 015 range is kind of even medium Asym. It's just not a really typical place for that to be at. So I'm gonna go ahead and move out, stand on 16, throwing 10 to 5, and I should be able to do just about whatever I want to with this ball. So that definitely digs. It was inside, but I felt comfortable enough. Normally when I come out here, I still kind of grab it and it's like, well, I don't want to worry, I don't want to get it out too far because then it's not going to hook. Well, this ball is definitely going to hook. I'm definitely going to have more room further outside with this ball, so I'm not worried about getting it too far out necessarily. And sometimes I'm like, well, I've still got to, if I dump the ball or I get too far up the back of it, or I don't put enough on it, it's just going to kind of, it'll get down the lane, but it won't have any kind of roll or any kind of good reaction going into the pins. But this one's strong and kind of dynamic-ish, so I don't have to feel like I have to hit it. That one was extra crazy bad. Just as I'm trying to describe to you how comfortable I am throwing it. I do have to keep my speed up, whatever I do with it. This did come at 2,000 grit, like I said. So a lot of surface on it. It looks shiny-ish, but it's one of those things, if it's got kind of a sheen look to it, and it's got oil on it right now. If I let it sit for a couple minutes and then pull the oil in, then we would be just fine. Let me try one more out here. Try to open the old shoulders up a little bit. There we go. So I got that really far out there, and it did kind of do that hook stop thing, but that's why I'm talking about rolling it. I'm having to kind of send it or push it a little bit to get it down the lane, but it still did tap that 10 pin. Even though I put it way out there and got way up the back of it, it still read the lane and still got the job done. So we'll throw one more out there. Another good shot. That was an okay shot, but you get the point. Like, it still looks pretty good. So if you are a straighter, like there's a guy that bowls in our scratch league that just loves the track Asyms, and when he was, I think he was looking to replace a Paragon or a Paradox, whichever one it's I don't know. It's all the same stuff. But anyway, I said, you just have to get a Criterion. And it took a little bit of, I almost felt bad for a second because it's like, oh, it doesn't look that great, but it was the right ball to replace what he was wanting to replace. And he really likes it now. And this is another one in that kind of realm. So you know what you're getting, but there's a tweak to it. But basically, if you are a straighter bowler, and he is the point I was trying to get to, ADD, is that he does kind of fire it hard and straight down the side. So if you do the same, I mean, the first zone was obviously really good. That zone was really good. Now we got to see if it'll cover boards. Which I think it will. Yeah, that's crazy. To have something so strong and controllable from straight, but be able to, like that one, I let it go and I'm like, well, that's gonna flutter and be a flat 10. And then to see, oh no, it picked up very decisively. And it hooked without burning anything or without giving anything up. And so I would say, key points, it is very strong. It is definitely your prototypical track Asym. It has that hook set, hockey stick, directional shape to it, but the cover really sees the lane well and blends the entire thing out, and so it sees the oil without burning up on the friction, and it responds to the friction without burning up on the friction. But it also looks like it's going to cover some boards pretty okay here too. And obviously, I am having to, when I was straighter, naturally, I had to take some hand out of it and throw a little bit harder. Now that I've, in the kind of third arrow zone, it was kind of my normal shot. Here, I am slowing it down a little bit and revving a little bit more. Naturally, you're opening angles up. You have to give the ball a chance to do something. Definitely flares plenty. But it just kind of doing everything really well here so far. Just one more shot from here. Yeah, I mean, it just, that shot before where I got a little bit more up the back of it, it did do that kind of hook set, read the lane and then went straight back through the pocket. That one I got a little bit more around the side of it. It picked up more, was more continuous. This is the zone where it might be a little tricky in. God, I'm already mad when this ball comes out. So I'm going to, what is this? This is May 24th. So I'm filming this on May 24th, and I go to Ozarks this weekend, but they don't announce the ball until June 2nd, so I can't take the ball down to Ozarks, which I'm really mad about because I think it'd be really good at Springfield. So anyway, so yeah, that last one, I failed to say, standing on 26, aiming 18 to 8. Now I'm gonna be on 31, looking 21 to 7-ish. This is where I would imagine it would start slowing down. Or almost go high flush 7-9. Same difference, really. So as far as forgiveness and versatility, I think we're just at S's right now. Because the hook set thing, I can work with it a whole lot easier on the right side than I can the left, but it's still not necessarily the greatest shape for my game. So I've been using like the Blackwood of the Dynasty 3.0 and then the new Spawn. I've been using the Spawn a lot. Just checking. I've been using the Spawn a ton, the Dynasty 3.0 a ton, because they're the rounder, more continuous shapes. Something like this, I get more up the back of the ball, and so I expect more hook set, hockey stick, kind of directional balls to, if I give them if I get up the back of it a little too much, or if I give the pocket away too much, it's going to do that hook stop flat 10 thing, but this one is not. And that's way outside. Wow. This is something that I noticed, whatever chrome is some kind of new craziness, because I thought it was crazy on the Zero Mercy Solid, but again, I was just getting back into bowling right-handed again, and so I was still a little touch and go. But now that I've seen it on a few other balls, we didn't get a Spartan, but the Spartans look really good for people. The Spawn, I love the Spawn. And now that this is, I'm seeing those same qualities, so whatever chrome is, it hooks without burning energy, which is, it hooks and it pops without burning energy, which is very, very encouraging. And that's way inside. But it could have been a whole lot worse. We're in that flatter part of the lane where it's kind of tricky to where you've got to really set it out there to get it down the lane, but you've really got to get around it to get it to kind of pull back up. But that wasn't, for as bad as that was off my hand, it did not end up in as bad a shape as I expected it to. Got around that one, but I sent it out. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I did get around it, I sent it way far out, but it's a strong ball, and so that one did kind of bog down and stop. That I wouldn't say was the hook set, hook stop thing. That was just a big strong ball trying to cover a bunch of boards and running out of gas. The hook stop thing is when you're playing where you should be playing and the ball hook stops because it burns too much energy making the turn on the backhand. So if I move back further right and it still does that, then we have a problem. But it's normally like that one you could see kind of bogged down. It started to try to make the move and then it just couldn't get there because it's a big, strong, heavy oil ball that I'm trying to force to cover a bunch of boards here. So let's do it again. Man. See how that last one just kind of hit in the wrong spot, I guess. But this is kind of fun. I'm gonna throw one more and try to make a more reasonable shot. Try to make something that you can kind of see a little bit better because it's just been, oh gosh, look how far that gets back from this deep. Let's make an actual quality shot and then we'll kind of wrap this thing up. Okay, that was, I didn't quite catch that one. My feet got a little fast, but that's reasonable enough to show you it's a big, strong ball that does hook. It does keep plenty of energy from that deep on the lane. It just is, it doesn't want to be that deep. That's not what it was made for. It's not what it was designed for. I don't know what the price is going to be. I would imagine 200 bucks. This is a big, strong, asymmetric ball that should be 200 bucks. So if it's 200, it won't be any more than that. So if it's 200, that's a B. If it's 190, that's probably an A. If it's 180, that's definitely an S. So if it's 200, that's what you expect to pay for a ball like this. If it's cheaper than that, it's a pretty good deal, basically. So on safety, I mean, this is especially for track bowlers, especially for people that throw a lot of track. This is exactly what you want it to be, and it's surprising. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and move back to third arrow, throw a few shots while I'm finishing this off. And it is chewy. I scooped that one a little bit, but probably a little slow too also. But anyway, I mean, if you're a track fan, you can see exactly what we're dealing with here. You're probably already got one pre-ordered, which you can go to Bowler's Mart to do, and if you follow my link in the description, that helps me out a little bit. We're gonna do an in-between move. So normally I got 5 boards at a time with my feet. So I'm gonna go to, instead of standing on 21 or 26, I'm gonna stand on 24. Put me at about 16 or probably 17 at the arrows-ish. So yeah, it's just that friction transition to where it's defined and it pops, but it blends at the same time. I really, really like that. And that's going to help me be able to throw this ball, give me a little different shape than that super round Dynasty 3.0 or the Spawn or whatever else is gonna give me a little bit different shape that I can play with while still not doing the full-on hook stopping thing. Let's see if I can get up the back of it a little bit more. Like that. Yeah, just look at that. Because that one, I got up the back of it to control so it would go straighter through the pocket, which it did, but it didn't stop and go straight in that direction. It kind of picked up and continued in that direction, which is a completely different story as far as pin carry and getting through the pins the right way. So now I've got a little different shape rather than something super continuous like a Dynasty or like the Spawn that want to pick up and really go through the pins well. So if I need something that's a little more controlled or a little straighter through the pocket, especially, let's move back left a little bit. Let me go to 29. So not quite the full depth that I was a second ago. And cut that out way too far and got up the back of it. But it still, you can see it still hit, even though it was suspect. That's one of those that's like, yeah, the pins went down, but I still returned to something else would have puked and the pins wouldn't have gone down. So it is one of those things, it's kind of two different directions. It's like, well, the pins went down, but the pins went down. So one more time here. And that one, you could hear that one hit flat, but it still dug the 10 out. So whatever this chrome additive is, significantly improves the ball reaction or how it handles friction, which I really, really like. So, I'm gonna have to say that, like I was talking about a few minutes ago and lost my train of thought, safety and appraisal are definitely S's. This is, and again, especially for track bowlers, this is an absolute S all day long. Steve Keeler, you're gonna be really excited about this one. Andy Klein, Rob Wagner, look out, y'all. Even the soft hand float that I can get to, so if I roll it, it kind of is rounder. If I kind of pop that one off, and that retained energy quite a bit better, even though balls don't technically retain energy. Bowl you, don't at me. I realize it's pre-session, but it's easier to communicate saying that ball retained energy better. Just that's, people understand that, even though that's technically not what's happening. And that was awful. Still got the job done. I'm gonna eventually, but again, I have not thrown a shot I've been really happy with in the last 4 or 5, and it's outside of that one monster split that we're not going to talk about. A lot of bad shots have been strikes that had not been strikes. So I could have had that gigantic split in the middle of everything that wasn't a strike. All right, so infamous one more shot, and we'll get out of here. That's, if you get that on the one more shot and do exactly what I was trying to do with that kind of pressure, that's good stuff. So anyway, you're gonna be all kinds of, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, if you're a straighter player, it's gonna hook and punch while still being controllable from straighter. Obviously, if you have a bigger rev rate, it does not necessarily want to cover boards, but it's probably one of the better big balls at doing that. So if you're on a heavy, long pattern and the track gets beat up, the heads get beat up, but you still need, you can't really ball down. You have to move left and stay in something that's got more traction. This ball is probably gonna be able to do that. And if you don't want something, I think the best pairing with it is probably gonna be with the Zero Mercy Solid, because it does kind of shape like it a little bit. The Zero Mercy Solid is just even more ball than this. And so if you need a Zero Mercy Solid, if you start in that and you keep moving left and it's just too much, this would be the perfect one to drop down into that I think is gonna complement it really well. So I'm sure there's other review beats that I'm kind of missing. I would have put it's a strong ball, it hooks a lot. The length is surprisingly okay for as strong as it is. And it does have it's not exactly medium speed back end, it's on the plus side of that too. So, and definitely a heavier, longer pattern condition ball that I think probably could be in use on heavier, shorter patterns too, because of how well it manages that friction. So yeah, I mean, this ball is very appropriately named because it is fire. And I shouldn't have wiped it off, because as it was sitting there, the sheen started kind of coming back. Now but anyway, and even you can see, this is another thing, that even though it did start out dull and it is kind of shiny, it's kind of shiny because it just needs to absorb the rest of this oil, but it still kept hooking and it still kept blending the lane really well. And so this is, the Paragon Fire is fire. Like, sorry y'all for hyping it, but I definitely wore the right shirt. I really like this one. I'm mad that I can't throw it at Ozarks. Damn you, Nick Smith. But anyway, this one's great. I'm really looking forward to throwing this. I have been throwing the Spawn a lot, and to run this one together with the Spawn when it's a little round and slow or something, to have this one be that extra bit of pop and maybe that little different shape complement. Yeah, it takes a lot to get me excited about a ball anymore, especially when we drill so much all the time. I'm kind of excited about this ball. I'm looking forward to throwing it. So thanks everybody.